No audio.
Okay, thank you. Hey guys, I'm having no audio on my end either. Okay. Let me go ahead and get this started here, guys. My apologies. Share screen, share with audio. Here we go. Share screen, share with audio. Here we go. Oh boy. Here we go. Hey, welcome to the live stream. Today's topics are going to be the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro delay notice. We're also going to be doing a deep dive on the Zino Mini Pro. Hey, welcome to the and we'll also be discussing the Air 2S precision landing procedure. Once again, thanks for watching. Let's get to it. And we'll also be discussing the Air 2S precision landing.
Hey.
Hey, good to see you,
going?
Brad. I'm doing fine. How are you,
Hey,
sir?
how's it going? Hey, I will say this out real quick. There was a double audio there, so I don't know if you've got a device running.
Yeah, apparently I had it on there because I needed the audio from that file. So I'm still figuring this thing out. So I was thinking maybe if I played a file by itself, you still have audio. But yeah, apologies for the feedback.
So yeah, we'll just welcome a few people into the show in the chat. Now we know Mikey's in the house from Fly Zone Drones. Hey, buddy, thanks for stopping by. I think Matt Cundiff has joined us. How you doing, brother? And we got a few other folks that have not spoken up on the chat yet, but just welcome to the show, and we're gonna get rolling here.
Yeah, so we had a great weekend, right? Celebrating the Independence Day, 4th of July, whatever you want to call it, man. It's one of my favorite holidays for sure. How about you, Brad? Is that one of your favorites also?
Yeah, it is. And we didn't do something this year that we've done in the past, like a lot of people do. They go watch fireworks, and we have not seen fireworks this whole weekend. We kind of had our hands full from Friday and Saturday doing some cooking of some Boston butts and some brisket. So did a little bit of that. And then yesterday morning, we went to some friends having a 4th of July block party yesterday out near Charlottesville. So we drove about an hour from here west and hung out there and hung out with some friends of his and the block in the neighborhood. And then we hung out overnight and had a few adult beverages and stayed there instead of driving back home, and came home today. And then we had to pack up all the brisket and Boston butt up in the vacuum seal bag. So that took a few hours. But yeah, it was a great weekend. Great weekend. 3-day weekends are always a nice thing.
Yeah, and the weather cooperated, right? That was unbelievable on Saturday.
Did.
Friday and Saturday, but Friday was my favorite. Yeah, it was really nice, really, really nice to have that beautiful weather. So we got Jay Bird in the house. Hey, how you doing?
Jay Bird, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, always. It's good to see you, man.
Well, we're hoping Fred, just for some of you in the chat and watching the stream, we're hoping Fred will be here shortly. He got stuck in a little bit of traffic this evening, and actually the traffic, he was only going 3 exits, he said, I think, but he was in fireworks traffic, so they're doing fireworks somewhere near him tonight.
Oh, boy.
And he got hung up in a little bit of that, and was trying to get back. So he's coming into the show here in just a little bit.
Good. Yeah, he was actually going to take the lead on the Zino Mini Pro, being the delay notice that they just put out. Unfortunately, they are unable to meet the commitments because they can't get the processor for that board. I think they have the board all built out. Everything is built out, but they just can't get that processor.
I briefly read something that somebody else had posted, I think on Drone Nation possibly, that they were very apologetic about it. It was an official notice, and they are going to give some type of like a refresh or like DJI does. I'm not 100% sure on what that is. I probably should have did a little more research before I brought that up, but it seems they're going to do something for their customers to make up for it.
Yeah, and I think it's a $60 value per year. So I think they're probably going to give you a year of the refresh, for lack of a better term. But let's just call it accidental insurance, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, kind of dovetailing. You had a conversation with me about insurance, right? You found out some interesting things about insurance, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I have State Farm insurance for my automobiles, and used to have it for the homeowners, but we kind of moved on from them for that because we had a couple of claims. But that's another whole story. But I've talked to my agent and actually a couple of the State Farm agents here in Virginia, Richmond area. I know one
Mhm.
a little better than the other, and they will insure drones here in Virginia, and the starting price of it is $60 per year. I have not received the details on what that covers, whether or not you have to have the drone in hand if you crash it, break it, or if you drown it and can't get a hold of it. Is there anything covered for loss of it? So I'm still going to get that information, and maybe in an upcoming show we can talk more about that in little detail. But I am going to get it on my Air 2S for sure. And if I can include the Mini 2, probably going to do that one as well. Those are my two favorite drones right now.
Yeah, and that's awesome. That's great to know. And Matt in the comments, Cundiff was saying that he has four of his quads insured through State
Right.
Farm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he said State Farm. Yeah. Hey, we
Yep.
have a
Chuck.
total vacation drone graphy.
Yep. That's Chuck.
Hey, Chuck.
Yep. Good to see you in the house. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by and supporting the channel, supporting the show, which
Yeah,
is still unnamed. We're still trying to figure out a name and where we're going to reside. So we're working on getting this dedicated to a particular channel and getting a name for it.
yeah, and we appreciate you guys' patience ahead of time for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see how far we're in. We're almost 10 minutes into it. So
Okay.
at the 10-minute mark, I'm about to get off my exit now. That's Fred. Fred is yeah, pinging me via Messenger, guys. You probably hear it. I'm not sure, but yeah, unfortunately, he got stuck in the traffic jam and is trying to get home so to do the show. So why don't we just go ahead and kind of shift the agenda a little bit, because I know we had our agenda was set.
Yeah. Well, Al, I was going to say, and I was going to say this before the show as well. I
Uh-huh.
don't think we necessarily need to do the agenda in order. I mean, I'm not sure how folks feel when they're watching the show. I've been on a lot of live streams, and I know Drone Nation, Ron and Marcus, they're pretty
Mhm.
straight about how they do their format, and they do follow an agenda. But I don't think it's a big deal to deviate from the plan. Everybody's here just to learn a little something, I think.
Yeah, I agreed. I mean, one of the things that we definitely YouTube is known for, right? It's just it's real, right? It's not fake,
Absolutely.
and this is what just like me fumbling and bumbling through the intro. It's
It,
real,
it,
man.
it's on all the channels. Stuff like this happens all the time.
And we're honest. We'll tell you when we're messing up, man. I've had a really bad, rough day, man.
Oh, oh,
I missed my dentist appointment. I went to Costco, left some stuff in the car that I needed put in, and luckily my wife said, "Hey, where's those eggs?" I'm like, "Oh my God, you're still in the car."
oh,
But it happens.
yeah.
It really does. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about precision landing then. What do you
Okay.
think? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
do you use it much?
I do. I try to use it. It depends, I guess. Let me say that. If I'm out in my backyard and there's no trees around or anything, and I don't have to worry about
Mhm.
it coming down and hitting anything, I don't necessarily like it landing in the grass because it clip it.
Okay.
It'll clip the grass and could get up into the motors or even dirt or something like that. I don't have a lot of dirt here. I do have a paved driveway, so I take off from that quite a bit, or my front sidewalk. But all that being said, precision landing, I've done a little bit of research on that just before the show, and know quite a bit about. Most of my drones have had that. I don't have the Mavic 2, which did not come with that, but I do have the Mavic Pro. I had the Mavic Air, and so forth and so on. And they all had the precision takeoff and precision landing. And I've tested them, each and every one of them, and they're a little rough when they first came out doing that with the Mavic Pro, and sometimes it'd land 3 feet away, 4 feet away. The Mavic Air got a lot better with it, and I think even doing a little bit of testing without recording it or anything, I think it all has to do with a lot of the contrast of what it sees when it takes off. And some of the little bit of research I did before the show, watching a couple of the other channels and doing some stuff on Google, say that with the Air 2S, which is, our big one today, a lot of folks have that one, and there's a lot of talk about that one. But the Air 2S, if you take that thing off and send it up about 7 meters, 21 feet roughly, and let it sit there, hover for 5 or 10 seconds, and you make sure you got your GPS, your satellite, and you're ready to go. You're kind of just making sure the area is clear. It's done its thing already by looking downward and seeing the area and doing the contrast thing with the downward sensors. So when you take off and you want to come back and do a precision landing, for the most part, I've seen a lot of videos, I've done it myself, it will hit its mark pretty close. And I can only base that on using a landing pad or a takeoff pad. I've never really used it on my driveway or in the middle of the backyard with a full yard of just green grass. I think it really requires some type of contrasting objects or, landing pad. Don't think the H matters, like the helipad H or the circle or the color. I think it's just the contrast thing. And if anybody in the chat has any other thoughts on that or opinions on that, if they know any better than that, sure, just call it out. And that's what I know right now.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, and even the little Phoebe Mini does real well with that high contrast, landing pad or helipad.
Yeah.
And in the Chinese translation for the helipad, it must be apron. They use the apron.
It is. Yep.
Right. And the Mini does well. I mean, you do have to give it a chance for that optical flow camera below to take a camera. Now, Drone Valley takes it even to an extreme. I noticed that when he did his video it's been a while since I've seen it. I think it was the Air 2S video he did for precision landing. He goes up and hangs out about 10 yards up, about 30 feet, and then brings the regular cinematography camera looking down and then takes off. I don't think you need to. I think, obviously it's taking a picture at takeoff. 30.
But I don't think it's taking like a picture. I think it's just sensors detecting. And I tried to get some more data on this for the show, but I don't think it's like maybe not infrared, but it just looks at the contrast. I would really like to be able to see, what that thing sees.
I would like to know, because when it comes back, let's say it's coming back and you took off this way, right? Mm-hmm. You took off looking at me, and it comes back, and then when it gets right over the landing area, it turns itself around so it matches exactly.
Yep, it matches orientation. Yep.
And that way, the comparisons, the apple comparison.
Right.
And thanks, Jay Berg.
Oh yeah, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. One thing I would like to do, and I just was going to call this out, is I would like to take the testing of that like a step further, like on a future show for us, and take a landing pad or one of those helipads, like I did, the ones that pop open, and take off from that precision takeoff, and send it out, test it 3 times, let it do its thing, have a couple batteries. But like after the 3rd time, a real good test would see what that thing's looking for is to move it 5 feet away, maybe in another direction, move the pad, and see if it's looking for the pad, or if I think it's a combination of the GPS coordinates, satellite, and the, just the GPS coordinates probably, and matches that with the topography or what it sees when it takes off with the sensors. So I would like to test that.
Yeah, and obviously every time you do a firmware update, check all your settings for that.
Oh, absolutely. because
Because,
I've done
have you
that
run
too.
into that too? Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
I
yeah.
have.
And you're thinking, oh yeah, I got 50 meters or 180 feet on the RTH height coming
Right.
back, and all of a sudden you're looking at like 30 meters, or 100 feet, and you're like,
I
holy
think
crap.
they've gotten better at it. I've watched
Mhm.
after every firmware update I had on this Air 2S. I have yet to see it revert back to like default settings. So I think they've gotten better with it. But previous to that, my Mavic Air and the Mavic Pro way back would always revert back, and I would, I'd be flying along and get I forgot what their default setting was for flying the distance away. I want to say it's 1 mile on the Mavic Pro originally, and it would always revert to that. And you'd be flying along, and it would stop, and you didn't know why, and you'd have to go into the settings, and there it is. It has a limit of the distance. So I just think they've gotten a lot better with that, and don't affect your settings. But they do have that pre-flight check tab that you can check those major settings for elevation, your above ground limit, AGL, and also the distance and a couple of other settings. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. So, the Fly app obviously does that pretty well, but the Go 4 app is a little bit different.
Right.
And I don't know, how many people in the house use the Go 4 app?
Well, and I know
use it, right?
I've used it on the Mavic Pro. I've used it on the Mavic Air, or did it change at the Air? So I know the Pro was the Go 4 app, and I'm not sure if the Air switched over at that time to the Fly app. But that's what I've been using for a couple of years now. So I haven't even flown my Mavic Pro probably since I got my original Air. And that was a long time ago.
Yeah, so, and that Air was so loud. Remember that?
Oh yeah. Yep, it was like a beehive.
Yeah,
it was just horribly loud.
Yeah, it was definitely a wood router next to you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so just to go back and revisit that just one more time, and we can move on to the next topic. But I think it's gotten a lot better, and I think the settings are good when they do the updates, and the firmware updates. But yeah, good thing to do. And every time you update your drone, is go back through every single one of those, and I check them right before I take the drone off. You want to make sure you got your satellites, of course. Make sure you're clear to take off. Make sure before you even do that, the props are secure and your battery's secure. So I try to do all that stuff to make sure I don't have any issues.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do. So why don't we go ahead and let's see how we're at 7:18. We're definitely rocking and rolling here. So we've been talking about this topic for about 8 minutes, which is fine. But I've found that the best, I normally hand capture as much as I can. I just don't want to bend down and don't want to do any weed whacking with it either, right?
Right.
So I catch it as much as I can, And oh wait, ADK drone's in the house. Good.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Fred.
Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for stopping by, Fred.
How you doing? You doing okay?
Yeah, everything's good.
Good deal.
Yeah, I know you're probably all stressed out for trying to get back in time and all that.
I'm always running late.
Hey, I want to real quickly point out, Matt Cundiff just posted, he said all the customers that ordered the Zino Mini before June 15th get the refresh, get the free refresh. So any after that, and that kind of makes sense. They had to put a date and a time on it, cut that off. But
you want me to play that video, Fred, and then we'll start that conversation next?
It's up to you, man.
Yeah, man. Why don't we do that? Are you okay with that, Brett?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay. Let me go ahead and cue it up then.
While you're doing that, welcome Caper Couple. I think it's Caper Couple. Thanks for stopping by.
All right. I'm going to kind of cue this thing up. Yeah, but Fred and I were talking on the phone earlier today. I think it was about lunchtime, and we were saying that you know that we're proud of Hubsan because of the fact they're standing up and saying this is what we have, and we're trying to get ahead of the problem, right?
Yeah. Well, it was a little slow in them getting that out, but then now that they have gotten that out, I think it'll help the relationship with the customers that are waiting, that have ordered it and are waiting to hear something. At least they've reached out to let folks know.
Yeah, and and I'm just having problems. I don't know. I thought I had it all squared away, but it's one of those things that occurs when you go live. You somehow ended up with the wrong.
It's all good.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, I'll welcome in Gorilla Man's Garage. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah. Hey,
and Chris Hope's in the house. He's been in for a while. I said hello to him in the chat, but welcome, Chris.
Hello, Chris. Good to see you. Okay. I just about got everything keyed up. I'm not going to be able to play the audio because of the feedback.
Okay.
As we found out earlier.
Yeah.
So here we go. I'm going to cue it up, Fred, and I'm going to share my screen. And share the screen. I'm going to play audio, but, here we go. So this is just to kind of give you some context, guys. This is the video that the Hubsan put out, and it was brought to my attention by Fred. So giving all the credit to Fred for finding this. Here we go. Here it is.
There you go, June 15th. Ah, gift bag is very nice.
Okay, so that was it, guys. So, yeah, I mean, your thoughts, Fred? I mean, you and I discussed this probably about half an hour earlier today.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Hubsan, and, well, through emails, and they said it could be 3 to 5 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it's for the chips.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
at least they were honest. I mean, other than that, that's not all I could get out of them.
I guess a question I might have, and I've heard other folks say this, do you think they're going to try to source some other chips from somewhere else, or are they going to stick with the ones? I don't know if they can source from another place, but
I don't know.
I wouldn't think so, Brad or Fred, because of the fact that, the printed circuit board's already been laid out.
Right.
They said they had units made and we're just waiting for chips, basically. I don't know if it's that it has to be that specific chip or not. I really don't know.
Well, and my question comes from knowing that when a manufacturer can't supply a chip, let's just say in this case, another manufacturer could supply the same type of chip if they have licensing rights to produce it. At least that's what I've seen in the past. I'm not 100% sure if that's still the same today. That was probably 10 years ago when I ran into something like that with a computer-related product.
No, I'm with you there. Yeah.
Big companies are just eating everything up like it's candy.
Right. Everybody's feeling it. I mean, auto manufacturers, everybody's feeling it. Everybody. I
mean, I don't know why there should be a shortage, really, to be honest with you. I mean,
right. That doesn't make sense.
Why is there a shortage in the first place?
Yeah, we were thinking, one of the theories is kind of like, the United States prepaid for the vaccine, the COVID vaccine from the 3 manufacturers, right? They locked it up. So we were first in line to get all the vaccines, right? And, the previous administration did that negotiation. They did a good job procuring all the vaccines from the 3 manufacturers. So whatever they were making, it was going to that agreement first. And then but now that we've gotten ahead of the curve, we see us, give a nose out to the rest of the world. But it's kind of like that, right? With DJI and the larger manufacturers, where they're probably buying millions and millions of those things, I would imagine. So, for a manufacturer producing those chips, they're going to go, yeah, we're going to go with this contract here because they're selling 10 million units and this manufacturer is only selling 1 million units, right? Or needs 1 million units. So just the economy of scale just makes more sense to provide it to that really large entity.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if DJI starts just making their own.
Yeah, that's true. They've got the resources or the money to do it and get the resources to do it, I would think.
They end up doing like Apple did, right? They get rid of the Intel CPU, right? And
yeah, Apple went on their own too with it. I mean, I'm sure somebody makes it for them, but
well, in the times we're in right now, a lot of companies, if they have the money to do it, this is when they're going to do it because of this, and they don't want to be sitting and telling their customers it's going to be 3, 4, 5 more months before they get the product that's supposed to be out right now, and that's the last thing they want to do because that ruins reputations really, really quickly. And another thing about that is, that they've ordered these chips probably way back and got a confirmation from the chip manufacturers. Yeah, we can provide, 1 million of these in a certain amount of time, no problem. But back to your original question or point, Al, was how did this? Where is this? Where did it all come from? I don't know exactly where it started. I thought it started with some of the disasters they had over in China or Chits. What is it? Chits. I can't even remember the name.
Cheshang.
Yeah. Where they had where they had the tsunami or something?
Oh, the Malaysia.
I mean, a while back. I don't know if that's where it originally started, but those kind of things come to mind when you hear about it. But
and Gorilla Man had a really good question here. He was wondering if the Hubsan Mini SE will come out before the Pro. So
it's a good question.
Yeah, it's a good question. But if they're using the same processor to as the main brain of the board, that's going to be tough, right?
It is.
Actually, I took a refund.
Oh.
So you backed out of the deal and said, give them my money back.
And I didn't even give them money, so I'm not even in it.
I mean, to their credit, I had it back that day too. It was literally in my account that day.
That's pretty good. That doesn't happen all the time.
Well, that's a really good dovetail topic to talk about, out of the two companies that we've been dealing with mostly here. I know Gorilla Man has been, kind of spearheading some of the issues with Hubsan, and you have too, Fred, and it kind of like, back scenes because you're working the back channels on this one. But, compared to FEMI and Hubsan, which company do you feel more comfortable with at this point in time, since you've had to deal with them both in the same kind of manner?
It's hard to get anything out of FEMI at all.
Yeah,
they tell you shit, but it's just like, I don't know if it's lost in translation or if it's just like, it can go like 5 different ways, the words they choose to use. It's like sometimes it doesn't make sense. It's almost like you're forced to just kind of like draw to your own conclusion.
Yeah, and it's political double talk, man.
It is, yeah.
I want to welcome Bill in from Coast to Coast Drones.
Hey,
Thanks
Bill,
for coming
thanks
by.
for joining. Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Sorry, Fred, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that was pretty much it. I mean,
yeah, but so you feel more comfortable with FEMI or more comfortable with Hubsan at this point, depending on.
Honestly, I don't really own any Hubsan drones anymore, so I don't really deal with them too much. Only on this one. Now that they don't have my money, I probably won't communicate until I put it out for sale again. I mean, when it comes out, I'll buy it, but I'm just not willing to let them have my money anymore.
Yeah,
it's not that I really need it. It's not killing me to let them have it. It's just a point. I mean, I don't really need to refresh. I don't really buy that refresh stuff anyway, so I don't care.
So it's just the principle of the matter that.
So Fred, we were talking on that quick comment on that or question. if you don't get the refresh, do you ever get insurance from your like State Farm or something like that on any of your drones? Do you have anything like that?
No.
Okay.
I did buy the refresh. I did buy the refresh on the Air 2S.
Okay.
Just because of the cost of it, but.
And I did too. But I'm gonna get the state. We were talking before you got in. If you didn't hear us, we were talking about the insurance on drones, and a bunch of folks in the chat said they have State Farm. Matt did, and somebody else did. And I'm about to get it. I've got it working right now. I just need to find out a little more details, whether or not they cover things like the loss of the drone, like if you dump it in a lake somewhere, or do you have to have a leg or an arm, or something. You know?
I have liability insurance if I run into something or damage something, but I don't have like insurance for say.
Oh, okay. You don't have like coverage for the drone. No. You have this coverage for other things.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. All right, I'll stop there, Al. We got off that subject earlier.
No, that's okay. So, my opinion, I think both the SE and the Mini Pro are going to be delayed. But what are your thoughts on that, guys? I'll be reading your chat.
The way things are looking, I don't know as much. I'm sure you and Fred, you probably could comment on that better than I can, for sure. I think it's going to be delayed.
Oh, Matt Cundiff is saying he's paying $75 a drone in Florida for his State Farm policy.
Full replacement. Okay, no deductible. That's still a good price.
That is a sweet deal, man.
Yeah. Per drone. Now that's per year, so that's a great price in my opinion.
Heck yeah! He's dumping $300 into the game, and
I'm sure you got to prepay for it, but still, I'm sure it's not like a monthly thing. But who can't?
Right. You prepay for it,
you know.
Yeah, and then I wonder when it comes to that, if you file a claim on any one or any four, if it's all four of them, will they drop you right after you do that? I've heard that happens. So,
yeah.
And it's a separate policy. State Farm doesn't put it. It's not a rider on any other policy. It's a completely separate policy.
I wonder who underwrites it within their group.
I'm not sure, but it falls under the photography. It's a photography policy. It's not a drone policy at all. It's a photography policy, or at least it's something to do with camera gear, video gear. I think it falls under that. And then Matt, there you go. Matt put it in there. Personal articles policy.
Personal articles.
So they changed the name of it and made it encompass a lot more things. That's pretty good. Yeah, Johnny. Yeah, $60 a year here at the lowest rate. I haven't found out details on, and I think that comes with a slight deductible. I don't know yet. Here in Virginia.
I got you. So we kind of we're having a discussion offline about, is the Zino Mini Pro going to have an SD card, right? And
because we were talking last week. There's a 68 gig version and a 128 gig version.
I know, and I'm going to share my screen and show you.
I'm pretty sure Matt had confirmed that. It looks like it has a slot right there. But I can't imagine why they would have a 64 and a 128 and then give you the slot too. But maybe.
And have you heard anything?
Now look, wait a minute. Stop right there, Al. There's actually a picture of a memory card right there on the side of that top image. You see the slot, right there to the lower right of the slot. That's a memory card. If you can zoom in, can you zoom in on that? There's a plus up there. You can zoom right in on. You see that? It's a memory card right to the lower right of that slot. So it still amazes me that they're going to sell a 64 and a 128, two different versions, or at least that's what they're saying.
I'm looking for the email. I asked them like a month ago, and they told me it was going to include a memory card slot, but it was going to a smaller card.
Yeah, because
that's a micro SD right there.
I don't know if they meant like smaller as in like smaller like 16 gig or maybe or did they mean SD? Like again, the translation thing is like
that's true.
Yeah, that's true. There's always I know people that have businesses in China, and there are people there always having issues.
So Matt did post something in the chat. He said on this SE now they don't offer the gigabyte options. Nowhere does it say 64 gig or anything.
Oh,
So I thought we had saw that last week written somewhere in one of the.
It could be they changed it because of the chips and the processors.
Right, that's true. That's true, Fred.
Maybe they're trying to change it to get something more adaptable. I don't.
Right.
well,
You know, it is fun with all the speculation we have and all the information we're getting. That things can change daily and weekly.
Yeah.
So, do they have a tow path sensor on the bottom, guys? It kind of looks like. Let's see, what are they? Number 15 or 14? Let's see what that is. Aircraft flashlight vision system.
Yeah.
Where's the let me zoom in again.
You're sure you're not looking at the Air 2S?
You're funny. Yeah, so here's the bottom, but it looks like what is 13? 13 is what? Sorry guys. Heavy on the touch there.
Low altitude, infrared altitude hold system. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like, that almost makes me think of the precision landing stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, but it says altitude hold system. Maybe it encompasses that, and maybe it does have something to do with the altitude hold.
Okay, so one of the things that I found out, guys, is this. Let me go ahead and do this so we can see each other. Yeah, so one of the things that I've found out in the past is that the manufacturer's website, they're not as good as the website from the other resellers, you know. So let me show you what I was talking about here, if I can find it. I think it was this one. No, it wasn't this one. This is the soccer games that I like. Here, well, there's my home. There's my home feed, guys. So I watch a lot of soccer, okay, and a lot of drone stuff. And now the Olympics is coming on. I can't wait for that. But what I wanted to show you guys, let me see if I can find it. I'll stop sharing until I find it, and you guys continue on.
Yeah, I don't have any other thoughts on that, but Matty, I agree with what Matty said. He said if there was an SD card slot, there wouldn't be any reason for them to offer, you know, two different versions, a 64 gig or 128, either one. I mean, it would be nice if they would give you, like DJI gives you, what, 8 gigs. It would be nice if they could throw in a, 16 or 32 in there, and then you'd have quite a bit of space to be able to record what you wanted to at 1080, even if you left your cards at home or something got corrupted and you didn't have the way to do it. But we haven't quite gotten to that point. But I guess the point is they want you to buy your own memory card and use what you want to use.
So, like I was pointing out earlier, so if you go to like the people selling the equipment, they have more detail about the product, because they're selling than the manufacturer. So this is AliExpress here. Web page is from AliExpress, and then you can see here that they even tell you what size motors you have. So
it makes me wonder where they get all this information if the manufacturer doesn't even give it to you on their website. You would think it's coming from the manufacturer, but I wonder whether or not they piece it together from other sources and then put together like this long, lengthy list until it comes out completely, and then they'll change it up. I don't know what y'all's experience has been working with AliExpress. I've only ordered like 1 or 2 things from them and waited for that slow boat to get it here. But
I buy a lot of stuff from there, man.
I try not to.
Me too. I try not to.
Well, I'll go ahead and show you, but no, I better not. I'll show you what I buy. But
you're more patient than I am.
Yeah. Well, most of my stuff is this. It's all.
Well, with Al, I can only guess. Al's probably got stuff showing up every day, so it's kind of like a revolving. It's always coming. It's always coming.
Yeah, because this is my latest build. It's the HD build.
Oh, that's looking good. That looks good.
It's a clean build, dude. It's a clean build.
Is that the one you had on your live stream earlier?
Yeah, and so it's a HD with the Cadec Vista on it, and all this TPU stuff right here comes in the kit, so it's really, really nice.
Oh, that's it. You showed me some of that, I think, when I was over there, right?
So you get everything you need.
I like that green, by the way. I love that green.
Yeah, so I was getting ready to, hoping fire it up this weekend. I put the motor.
Can I fly it first? I'm not an FPV flyer. I don't fly FPVs, but you can let me crash it first if you want.
We could do like that guy in 1906. He flew that monocopter, but he only flew it a couple feet off the ground because he had it tied down. Remember that? But I'm going to share the screen again, and I'm going to show you what I have highlighted. And this is the specs from AliExpress, guys. So I'm going to share it, and here we are. And I'm going to make it bigger. We'll take our talking heads out of it. But you can see here they have look at this, 200 grams for Japan.
Yeah. That's because their regulations different, right?
What are they going to? Where are they going to shave off 9 grams?
Oh my! 9? You mean 49 grams?
I mean, sorry, 49.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot.
Probably comes right out of the battery. I wonder what
the battery will. Yeah, the battery will take the biggest hit.
Yeah.
Because they can't take it much out of the drone. I don't even see where they can't take all the 49 grams out of the battery. The battery probably doesn't even weigh that much.
Right.
So where else would they take it? That would be a completely different drone, in my opinion. So
yeah,
I don't know if that information.
Have to like shrink it right down to even.
Yeah, I would think that information might not be correct. That's my initial guess.
Yeah, well, you definitely want to leverage whatever you have in your investment, right, in the production site, right, or manufacturing site.
I mean, Japan could mean like the drone weight without the battery too. Who knows what the hell they?
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so moving down, you guys see anything that jumps out? Here's the other one that jumps out at me, and I know you pointed this out before, Fred.
GLONASS.
So we got the Russian, we got the U.S., but not the Chinese.
Thank God. I mean, it sucks here. I mean, I don't care what it is if it works, but that's no good here for me.
Well, you know what else? You know what else jumped out at me? The very next line, Al. If you go back and share that screen again, the very next line jumped out at me.
Okay, let me go ahead and put it up here. All right, the next line is maximum flying time is 40 minutes. How many of you guys believe that?
Oh my gosh, I won't believe it till I see it. I mean, I know technology's getting better, but
I think they switched them around. I think we're good for 40-mile-an-hour winds in 25 minutes.
That's probably right.
I think it's lost in translation again, Fred.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so the other thing that jumped out at me here, all right?
Chinese minutes are shorter. So.
Oh gosh. So here the motors are 1503s, the KVs are 2820. Oh my gosh. So those are definitely set up for like a 3.8 to 4S EFCs, right? So digital EFCs are 20 amps. So, it's got a pretty hefty setup.
Yeah, seems like it.
Yeah.
But again, how much of this information is correct? I mean, that looks good. I mean, I could believe that. But I mean, what you're saying when you're saying hefty setup, because of the KV 2820s.
Yeah, I just stepped away for a minute. I want to stop sharing, and I'm going to show you something here.
I'm going to be timekeeper, Al. We're at 7:44-ish. I don't know what else.
Thank you. So these motors here, this is the Baby Hawk 2 HD, and these are 1404. So they're very similar motors. So that motor that we're seeing, come on, focus. Yeah, so these motors, you can tell, has been used. This is one of my daily bashers.
Yeah. Is this the gateway drone? The gateway.
No, the gateway. No, this one is once you get past the gateway. Then
this is the next one. Okay.
Yeah, and then I'm graduating.
That one's flattened, didn't it?
Huh?
I said, didn't you flatten your first one?
Oh yeah, I had I crashed this one so
Little
bad.
incident.
Yeah,
Is that what you call it, an incident?
yeah. It was almost slammed, but this is definitely graduation, right?
I'm glad we're seeing how pretty that is before you fly it and crash it.
and that's why you take
shot that shit.
that's why you take pictures of it before you.
That's right. That's right. That's what I do. I take pictures of everything so I can see the before and after.
Okay, my camera's not focused. All right, enough of that.
That's good though. That's good.
But that gives you a feel of what this drone looks like and what kind of motors it has. So
they're relatively close in comparison then.
Yeah. The big difference is this guy here has got a lot bigger EFCs. The EFCs are 40 amps in this one, so it's twice the amp.
Oh, and the other ones were 20 amps.
And the other one's 20 amp, right?
Right. But it's a different beast as well, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to highlight something. Is this a typo? I'm not sure.
So far, I'm thinking there's a couple of typos, but let's see what you got.
Let's see what I got. Okay. Wait, how come I'm
or misinformation that they were given at AliExpress, maybe.
Oh, they took some liberties, right?
Maybe so, just to hype it up.
Okay, so I am going to go ahead and to make it bigger so everybody can see it. Is this a typo? Guys, in the chat.
Oh, 1/1/3, 1.3?
So it's bigger than 1 inch sensor is what they're saying.
Yeah,
How could that be?
Yeah, you got me. I don't know about that one. That thing is huge. Yeah.
So it's not a typo because they're showing it here. It says, because this is a 1/2 inch sensor here, and they're showing that 1/1.3. Right?
Yeah, that's double both directions.
Which means it's a bigger sensor than the Air 2S and the Mavic 2 Pro.
Yeah. That's got to be a typo, but it's saying 48 megabits. I
don't think it's a typo. They definitely have that.
Yeah, that's going to be, if that's on there, I'll probably buy one of those once I can get my hands on one.
So that's what jumps out at me. You see anything else here? The lens specification field of view is 84 degrees. That's nice. The wider, the better, right? And the aperture.
It'll be a fixed aperture, right?
Yeah, 1.85. That's not bad. So these two things are nice to have.
Yeah. Yeah, but how effective? I mean, if the sensor's the way they say it is, that's going to be pretty effective at 48, megabytes.
So the other thing that a lot of people are not going to be happy about is the fact that we're not getting 25 or 24 frames a second at all. And obviously that could be changed in firmware because the only frame rate you get in 4K is 30 frames a second. You only get 2 frame rates at 2K, 30 and 60. You only get 2 frame rates even in 1K.
Oh yeah. Well, that's nowhere near the level of the Mini 2 and DJI.
Right. But what is very interesting, I know you pointed this one out, Brad, is the 200 megabits per second.
Oh, I know. Yeah, we were talking about that last week. That's unbelievable.
Of course, it says 100 to 200.
Right, it does. So are they doing some type of interpolation or fooling it into, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, and
it still won't be as good as DJI.
It won't. It all depends on
the lens.
It depends on that. How good is that glass, right? Because if
their firmware will never be as good.
Yeah, they're so far ahead of the game.
Well, and support's a big thing too.
Yeah.
But we want these guys to succeed.
Yeah, we do. We need healthy competition.
We're hoping.
I like all the drones.
Yeah.
I try to buy them all.
No, I'm going to try to get into planes.
Fortunately, I can't fly them all, but.
Hey, we got to get together, do a meetup, and we just chase each other around again. Okay, getting back to business. Let me see. Let me go ahead and post this back up here again. Um, all right. So, anybody know what this Sync is? I've tried to figure out what it is.
Synkless? Is it
Yeah.
sync?
It's obviously some kind of like OcuSync.
Can you zoom in on that anyhow?
Unfortunately, I don't know how.
No, you probably can't.
I mean, the only thing I could no, I'm going to mess it all up. I got to practice before we get online.
No, that's fine.
So the other interesting fact down here, look at this: maximum bit rate.
40.
What does that mean?
Video maximum 40 megabit per second. I don't know a whole lot about the video side, so somebody else will have to answer that one.
So they're giving us two different numbers, image here, and I'm not sure how they're delineating it, right? Because they're giving you the sensors, and then they say 200 megabits, 100 to 200 megabits a second, and then maximum bit rate is 40 megabits a second. Oh, is that the remote controller? Yes. Okay. Now I get it. So the remote control video, which is that 1K video, that's is the exact same thing that we're seeing from DJI, is 40 megabits a second.
Right.
I don't recall what DJI has. Anybody recall?
I wish I could answer that. I don't have that.
I can't either.
I don't. But that's note to
up real quick.
Yeah, note to self. Find out what the bit rate is on.
Hey, welcome in Sergio from Fly Zone Drones, and anybody else we've missed. Thanks for stopping by.
Hey, Sergio. Let's see. Gimbal. Nothing crazy about the gimbal.
Yeah. What about the range? What is the mechanical range there? It's 120 to 45. Negative 120 actually to 45. Okay.
So it's going to be able to look under itself farther than most drones, it looks like to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be able to point at 45 degrees, kind of look up at the sky.
Right.
So yeah.
That's decent. I could see them doing that.
Okay, so let's look at the flight controller here. Now, this is all the flight controller information here, guys. Out of control protection, low battery return, home visual recognition. So there's that precision landing stuff. Search for apron.
So you said it searches for apron?
44 megabits.
It's 44.
Oh, okay.
So wow, it's only 4 megabits per second lower. Wow.
And it says 16 megabits for live video something. I don't know what that means without reading the whole article.
Okay. So when you're streaming to, how. By the way, the Go 4 app is the easiest one for me to use, but I haven't tried. Yes, I have. I did a live stream one day with Air 2S. But that's what that is, Fred, is the live stream.
Gotcha.
Forward binocular visual perception. What is that? Forward binocular. Oh, this is the front sensors up front.
Forward binocular visual perception, precision, measurement, distance. So it's able to read the distance.
12 meters
up to less than 12 meters. So a little less than 36 feet, I guess.
A little bit more than 36.
I mean, a little bit more than 36 feet is what I meant to say. Yeah. So that's pretty impressive. Depends on the speed of the drone and whether it can do that at high speed.
Yeah, because if you let go of the stick when you're cruising full blast, how long does it take to stop?
Yep, that's how long. That's at braking distance, right? Sliding right into a tree at 30 miles an hour.
I know, Fred. I see you concentrating hard, looking at this stuff. Anything jump at you?
No, I can't even see it.
Oh, okay. I thought you were concentrating, man, reading. Okay.
I'm actually looking at it on my phone.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, that makes sense. It's like, you know,
I
you
just took a
can't read the
screenshot
menu.
of it and blew it up.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you're at the restaurant, you can't read the menu, you take a picture of it, now you can blow it up and look at it. Oh, man. Okay. Now, we're talking about Japan being 200 grams, right? So we were theorizing that the weight, 49 grams difference, was probably going to be shaved off in the battery. Are they showing anything here in the battery? Standard voltage, charge and limit, discharge rate,
well, you got,
8C.
you're showing standard voltage is 3.6 times 2, right? So that's 2.
It's a 2-cell.
Right, 2-cell. So I'm almost going to go back to what I think, Fred, you said it. They might be saying there it might be without the battery in the drone, and maybe it is 200 grams.
Because they're showing the weight of the battery being 101. Let's call it 102 grams.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they're saying 102 grams.
So you know what that means? They could take one battery, take it down to a 1-cell, and still need to get the 7.2 volts.
Yeah, they couldn't do that. They could just have the LiPo.
Right.
And the discharge rate is, God, that's so low, 8C. So just to give you an idea, man, you can like pump out like 400 amps through the 6-cell freestyle racing FPV drones.
And on top of all of this, they were saying up above 40 minutes flight time, right?
Yeah, and that's why, because the discharge rate is so low.
Right.
The rate is 8C, so it's really a low discharge rate, so which makes sense because, you know, you're not going to fry your ESCs. You're not going to, you know, overheat anything. It's still going to be pumping a lot of juice relatively speaking, for a mini.
Right.
Yeah. So this is the AliExpress site. I find it more useful than the manual. It's a little bit more, you know, bling to it, but and you know, the marketing here is always amazing to me. You know how they show these pictures, and you're like,
they're like in Chicago or something all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this is definitely city there, Shenzhen or something like that.
Maybe San Francisco. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be interesting. It's cool to look this stuff up and talk about it, and you know, there's a lot of talk in the chat about it, and we'll get there. We're just it's going to be delayed now, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the good thing about it too is they're putting an LED light into it, right? So we can, you know, at twilight we can bring it back. And I think we went over all this stuff, so I think
they didn't say anything about any type of no-fly zone stuff, right?
Yeah, they didn't show a database on that, as far as I know. Did I miss it? Let's go back.
Well, you know, I don't think it's in there. I didn't see anything.
Okay, I'll go ahead. This is probably annoying people, so I'm going to stop. Very interesting. So, Fred, how was your 4th, man? What did you end up doing?
We had to party, man. That's about it. Shout out fireworks.
Yeah. Oh, you got any videos of the fireworks?
Yeah, I got a little bit. Yeah.
You want to share?
Let's see if I can find it here.
Okay. Yeah. Did you set off any fireworks, Brad?
No. Unfortunately, like I was telling you earlier, this year we didn't get to see any, and we didn't set any off. I was all over the place this weekend.
Yeah. So while you're looking for it, I'll go ahead and pull something up. So
I know one thing, that I've got a lot of notifications and also Facebook posts about fireworks and people flying their drones and capturing them. But I have not had a moment to be able to look at any of them yet. And I'm gonna try to do that either later.
Mine aren't from drones. Not to interrupt you, but
no. I've seen both. I've seen both being posted, but you know, I usually search out the drone ones because you can get such cool shots with the drones. And some people put them up there in harm's way
Yeah,
right up in there.
I couldn't light and fly.
That's right.
Okay, so here's I'm going to add this to this.
Fireworks are so cool. I always love seeing fireworks.
Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah. Is this the grand finale?
Yeah, the beginning of it. Yeah, it went for about 2 minutes, 2.5.
Nice.
So you were up close to personal over there.
You were really close, yeah.
My daughter's filming and I'm lighting stuff off.
Oh, so this is your own personal
Yeah,
channel.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. Your
That's
daughter.
so cool.
I'm surprised that sensor's taking it, man. Wow, that was a big one.
No, she's got the latest iPhone.
That was
I
good.
purchased it for her.
That was definitely good video there.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Now
Yeah,
you're going to have to teach her about that. Well, I guess what I was getting ready to say, you got to teach her landscape and portrait modes. But with fireworks, where she was standing, I guess portrait mode was the best mode to be in.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, unless you were just going to catch the explosion, and then landscape mode would have been better. But I like seeing them take off from the ground, so that was great.
Yeah, I had these rockets too that were just incredibly loud.
Nice.
They had like half sticks in them.
Very nice.
All right, so I took the FPV drone before they set up for the concerts downtown in Browns Island here in Richmond, Virginia. So Browns Island is a little island that is between the city and the other side of the river, and
it's on the river, right?
And they connected it with bridges, walking bridges over the James River. And if you guys watch my channel, that's where my Skydio 2 went into the water. So this is, I'm going to skip forward ahead. I'll be posting this on YouTube. I still haven't put any music to it, I don't think, but I'll bring it up and show you what.
Al, we can keep going. We're past top of the hour, but we can keep going. Folks, okay. We appreciate everybody hanging in there with us. We usually try to stick to an hour, but we got some lots to show tonight.
Yeah, we definitely. Whoa, that's loud. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and play it. Let's see what happens, and then we'll open the line for the shameless promotions. All right, this is the DJI FPV drone. And I'm trying to line up to go underneath the. I'm trying to line.
That's the railroad trestle, right? Oh, the footpath.
And there's a footpath I was telling you about, but I'm trying to line up to fly under the trestle here, and then get to the canal.
Right.
And rip through the canal, but don't want to make a mistake. And
the sun was in your eye right there to some degree as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. There you go.
And then I'm like, oh crap, there's a car crossing the bridge.
Yeah, you don't want to
hit that.
You're right.
And then it just dropped down. But what I thought it was cool was the reflection on the bottom, even though we had some stuff. So just flying under these bridges, it's just amazing that it has that capability to punch through all these trees, because I'm not anywhere near this place. And then I am hoping that it doesn't RTH while it's still under the
Oh
bridge.
my gosh, no kidding. Yeah.
And this is the stage where the concert was held, right here.
And you did this on Saturday, Al, you said?
Yeah, right before they were having a marathon too. And then they have these squares on the grass. That's where you must sit. They call it a pod.
Well, is that I guess they did that because of still COVID, right? So you got smaller groups of people, and there's still the distancing thing as well.
Yeah, so you can take your mask off in the pod, but you got to put it back on when you go out there. So that's it, guys. That is it.
This is a cool place to fly. Al, Al turned me on to this. I live in Richmond, and I've been downtown Richmond. I've been in that area many, many times over the years. I just never flew a drone there until I met Al, some months ago, and it's one of the best places in Richmond to fly, in my opinion.
I agree. It really is. It really is a really nice place to fly because there's so much happening there all the time, right?
Anybody in the chat? No, go ahead.
Yeah, if you want to promote your channel, you just sit down there. If you have business cards, hey man, new channel, check it out. New channel, check it out. Yep. And just giving them out, And,
that's right. There's a lot of folks down there. There's bike paths, there's walking paths, there's running paths. You can drive down there. You can get out on the river down there on a boat, kayak, whatever. There's so many things to do in that area. It's amazing. Anybody in the chat ever wants to come to Richmond, we'll show you around, and that's probably one of the main places we'll take you.
Yeah, that includes you, Fred. I can't wait to get together and fly with you, man. So, Fred, do you want to talk about some of the videos you put out last week? I know you've been working real hard on the firmware stuff for FEMI, and also you did all that low-level flying with the Mini 2. That was really cool video. I really like that one. And I just love the mountains where you live. And, you got the river and you got the lakes, and they're probably 5 minutes away from your house. So tell us a little bit about that.
Just nobody around to bother you. It
really is pretty.
The only thing that sucks is it's hard to find a place to take off around here. You got to know the area. There's a lot of it's private property, or it's state land, and you can't take off from either. So,
oh, really? In state land, they won't let you do it, right?
You can, but you're only in certain spots. You can fly there, you just can't take off in certain spots. They'll give you a hard time about it.
So I see a lot of your videos are over trees and around the mountains up there. Yeah, that makes sense.
Place where nobody lives there, nobody bothers. You don't have to worry about like houses and traffic and people and shit like that.
Yep. Stay out of trouble.
I just happen to live here. I just didn't really pick it out on purpose. It's just kind of where I live.
Well, it's pretty cool from your perspective, and taking off from some of those spots, doing these range tests, or just test in general, because you've got all the trees, you've got the mountains, and in some cases you got water, you've got everything around there that a lot of people don't get to test over. If they're closer to the city, and they
never really think about it. Yeah, you never really think of that either when you live someplace. You look at it every day. It's nothing special to me.
That's right.
I'd rather come down where you guys are flying just to get out of here.
Well, I'm looking to go up there and visit, Brad. We should go up there in the fall. I bet you the footage up there in the fall.
Yeah, it's best time to come up when all the leaves are out and stuff.
Yeah.
What are we, about 8 hours away now?
Well, 10, I think. I looked it up.
10 hours, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll check it out.
Yeah, we're probably like 35 minutes from Vermont. It's better over there because they're more hardwood for the leaves, so there's a lot more color.
Yeah, so you're mostly evergreen?
Yeah, our round decks are like really a lot of pine and evergreen and shit like that. I mean, there's a good variety of trees, but Vermont's just like endless color, just as far as you can see. I guess that's why they call it the Green Mountains. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like all hardwood.
Well, I bet your winters can be a little rough at times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Winters.
Yeah, I bet.
I try to go to Florida for the winter.
Snowbird.
You do the same thing. Yeah, snowbird, like Ray Kelly is, Captain Ray Kelly.
I stayed up here because, I kind of got trapped up here with COVID. So.
Oh yeah.
I decided not to go back, but I think this winter I'm going back down.
Good for you. Well, how about you, Brad? What's going on, man? What are you planning?
It's still a way. I keep thinking about Spin Up 2021. With a lot of conversations and all the live streams and chatting and postings on Facebook, and I'm just looking forward to that. But we still have 4.5 months to go, and just looking forward to it. And some folks already know this. You're going to ride with me, Al. We're going to drive, unless something changes. I don't think it will. And then Rodney Bell will be riding with us as well, and we're going to probably head down to Johnny's if we can do that. It's a long drive from here to Hammond, Louisiana. It's about 16-hour drive with the stops and getting gas and stuff like that. So we got to figure out a few details on that. That'll be a long day of driving if we try that. And with the hour difference in, between here and there, it'll be still 8 o'clock when we get there.
Yeah, we'll gain an hour and lose an hour.
Gain an hour, but it'll be 8 or 9 o'clock by the time we get there if we leave at 6 here. But anyway, I'm looking forward to that, and just trying to I got to get the drone. I did get my drone in the air yesterday on July 4th for a few minutes to take a picture of like 21 people at this block party I was at, and near Charlottesville, Virginia, which is about an hour west of me from Richmond. So that's about the only thing I did with the drone, and play with my RC car a little bit yesterday, Al. So
yay!
Throwing rocks all over the place. I had to stop that because there were cars around. But that's all I've been doing lately. Getting back into work tomorrow morning. Got some early mornings this week, so I got this week starting some more of the work that I do really early at 3:45, 4 o'clock up in the morning.
Hey, Miguel Silva joined us. Hey, Miguel, thanks for joining us.
Nice. Appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, appreciate you stopping by for sure. Yeah, so, all right, so I'll wrap it up. I'm working on, like Fred is, doing a lot of comparisons with the minis for range tests, but also doing a comparison between the big brothers and little brothers as far as range tests. So, that's going to be interesting videos. Both Fred and I are working on the same project. We didn't know we were working on the same project until today when we chatted. I was like, dude, mine's almost all finished. How far are you along? So if you watch my channel, I've been doing the mini range tests and Air 2S range tests. What you haven't seen is the Phoebe X8 SE 2020 range test from the same location there from that little platform, little tight area. I know.
That's on the south side of the river, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
That's a cool little place to take off from, though, because you get, and it's key to being able to do the line of sight as well, right?
Yeah.
You can look right down the river and see your drone to a certain point.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely, the old saying is you can't use any optics to help you find it.
Right. So your visual line of sight is pretty nice from that spot where you take off to do those range tests. Yeah, and
we'll go for 2 more minutes and talking about that. I mean, Dustin Dunnell, Fred, you and I were talking about Dustin Dunnell. He's been he hasn't been flying from the side of the mountain where he usually does. He's been flying from that park in that residential area, kind of rural area, I imagine it's similar to your, kind of like where you live, not that many houses, but you do have a few clusters here and there. He's been flying from there, right, Fred?
Yeah. Well, what was stranger is he's been flying around the houses now. I wonder if he got warned or something by, he usually didn't care where he, where he was flying. But his last video, the Air 2S one, he kind of made it a point to, I'm going to go around this house, I don't want to fly over anything. And he said it 20 times, making a point of that. Like somebody warn him or something,
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing out there who would ever care,
Yeah. And the funny thing about it too is that when he hit return home, he didn't care if it went back over houses.
No, he didn't.
You know what? You want that drove back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my project, last project. Oh yeah, I flew over Richmond International Raceway track.
Oh,
that
nice.
was pretty cool, and that's another place we should consider going out there because during the week when nobody's there, you could definitely fly over that area
cool.
without violating any of the bylaws or any of the laws. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure that's good footage. Yep.
Shall we wrap it up, guys?
Yeah.
We're 14 minutes over, and we've had so many nice people in here.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody supporting us and stopping by.
Fly Zone Drones, Michael, Miguel, thank you. Oh my gosh.
Sergio, DD's been in the house. Yep.
Yeah. And
Maddie and Johnny and Chris Hope was in earlier. I'm not sure if he's still in, but we appreciate everybody.
And Akirasho, thank you so much. And of course, Gorilla Man's Garage, thank you so much. You've contributed so much to the Femi Mini community. You keep hammering Femi, man. Let him have it. Both barrels, right, Fred?
Thanks for Bill, Coast to Coast Drones, stopping by as well if he's still in the house.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. Matt, thanks, brother.
Yep, thank you, Matty. Always a pleasure to see you guys, Al and Fred. I'm glad you made it, Fred. And it's hard to believe you only had 3 exits and you got hung up in all that traffic.
Right? Took fireworks tonight in Lake George. So it's like I live off that. I didn't even think about it when I went to the store.
Wow.
There's another way to go, but I was already committed.
That's right. Because that road goes all the way around that lake, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I was getting from Glens Falls to Lake George, where like all the stores are. You got to go down 87, which is 3-lane major highway. I just live a couple exits away, so I could have went up over the mountain and been home a lot faster without going through all that. But I didn't know
good. You made it in. We're glad you made it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Any parting words before we drop?
No, I think it was a great show. Again, glad to see everybody in the chat, and we'll do it again next week.
We're looking for topics, guys. Let us know what topics you guys want to hear. And we want to thank you for your time. I really do appreciate you guys taking the time to come here. Really do. Jay Berg, thank you for the donation. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right. With that said, peace, love, and all that good stuff. Stay safe.
Yep. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.